Hello and welcome to the Dance for the Culture podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all things dance and how dance has allowed us to create, connect, educate, preserve, explore, and live proudly in who we are. I am your host, Lindsay Renee Benton. I'm a dancer, choreographer, movement director, educator, creative consultant, founder, and lover of all things art. I'm so excited today. We have my absolute favorite dance photographer, my sister, Miss Shock Photo herself, Shoccara Marcus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for just creating this platform.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you agreed to come on. Yes. I mean, I wasn't going to give her a choice.
Of course. I was going to be here no matter what.
I want you guys to see a little bit of what she does and what she has done with this dance film, and I'll let her introduce it.
Okay. So this dance film is called Think Wide Open. And can I, okay, so this was a dance film that was pretty much created during the pandemic. I had an artist residency at the Promenade Building, and we are on top of Colony Square. We're on the rooftop shooting this.
Yeah, isn't this where the private planes or helicopters?
Yes.
It's the helipad?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So those of you who've never been on a helipad, you'll get a full, semi-full, I guess you could say, COVID experience of what it's like while watching the film.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. This dancer I capture, her name is Nia Smith, and she used this as an audition piece for college,
because everything was online at that point, so she had to use film.
Yeah. And so what year she's probably almost about to graduate, because I think she was going to SUNY. I think she's at SUNY. So I'm on this rooftop, and I shot the whole thing by myself. That was like the first and last time, with like 2 different cameras. And Brittany Fleet, she did the choreography for it, and it was so beautiful. Then we added a poem to it, and yes.
Wow. So this was Colony Square in the center of Atlanta, Georgia.
Midtown Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yep. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and roll that.
And we'll be back.
Every day we wake up with a new challenge to face. This is what you decide to do with that challenge. Do you let it ruin you? Do you let it ruin your daily expectations for yourself? Or do you use it for motivation? Motivation to keep growing as a dancer.
I hope you all enjoyed the film. It's really beautiful to see how artists are able, or were able to, and in some cases still are, finding ways to create regardless of what the circumstances are, like COVID. Many of us were not able to do the things in person that we wanted to, but thankfully your medium that you use in terms of photography and film, you're able to navigate regardless of what the conditions are. I think that is one of the things that is really cool about your lens, that you use for dance. So tell us a little bit about how you got into dance photography.
Oh my God. It was by accident.
By accident.
You were there.
So we've known each other since Howard University undergrad.
Yes.
And so, yes, I have to say, honestly, all of my headshots for the last something years. This one right here.
All of it?
All of them. If you look at any playbill, shock photo. Shoccara Marcus. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, anything that you Google, professional photos, likely from Shoccara Marcus if they were a headshot.
Yes.
Yeah. So, since we were at Howard, so tell us a little bit about how, because you started off as a dance major.
Yeah.
So how did you end up photographing dance?
I know. A lot of people just like, what made you just one day just want to pick up the camera? I was like, nothing. I didn't just say, hey, I'm going to pick up a camera. And the great story, I failed a final. I overslept for a final. And that following semester.
This was a dance final.
A dance final is that. Oversleep for a final, see what happens. So overslept for a dance final. And so getting a D in your major classes is failing.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Not bye-bye, but you got to make some provisions.
Right.
So the following semester, I just needed another class to take. And I said, I think I like taking pictures. Let's take this class. And when I think back on it, like I was really meant for photography, but I never knew it. And because I think back to like high school, as a senior in high school, I asked my parents for a video camera.
Oh, wow.
Big old bulky, the one that like the lens went. Yes, and I still have those little tapes.
Wow.
And I asked for that because my senior year, I videoed like senior week and graduation rehearsals. Like I was creating right there. I was capturing all that. Had no idea. But I had no idea that I was meant for photography because I didn't see it. So I always talk about how important representation is because I didn't see a black female photographer doing it. I was training as a dancer. I was in dance classes. I attended an outside dance studio, and then at Tri-Cities, I went there and
Tri-Cities is your
Tri-Cities High School.
High school. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I attended dance classes there, so I didn't see there are photographers out here killing the game and everything. Because then I would have been like, oh, I got this camera, I'm figuring the things out.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, and then I had like collages on my wall.
I remember
similar like this,
yeah.
like. Back in the day, the cameras that you would take to like CVS and it, I would get all of those and make collages and photo albums. So it was in me, but I didn't know. So Howard, oversleep. See, if I didn't oversleep for that final,
you might not have discovered.
If I wasn't so tired for how many finals that week, if I would have just got enough rest.
Look at there.
So I took that class, and that class turned into something beautiful where I was like, hey, let me take another class. Hey, let's take another. Hey, can I minor in it? Because I got to be here for another year. And then you guys came along saying, hey, take my headshot.
Yeah, we needed headshots.
And I was like, no, I don't know anything about headshots. I just took this class. They don't teach headshots in this class. And you guys really pushed me to like do the things I didn't want to do. And then Dr. Sherelle Berman Johnson, rest in peace, she pushed me to capture the dance concert, and then IBD.
Yeah, the International Association of Blacks in Dance Conference. It's interesting because I think that what you said about had you passed the class, had you not overslept, there's so many things that we don't realize that happen, that everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And this is definitely one of those moments. And, years later, here we are. But, those first headshots, if you hadn't taken our headshots, we would have been taking selfies with actual, like, Polaroid cameras.
Yes. Yeah. And Shola told me, she said she was using those things up until, like, a couple years ago.
No, really. Like, I think my agent was very happy when I got new headshots, recently, because they were quite dated. Like, I didn't even have locks in my last headshots.
Yeah. And you always have a lot of pictures because I always get excited when I'm photographing.
Well, I want y'all to know that this is one shot shock, okay? Like, especially as a dancer, I think that sometimes people take for granted the skills that they have because of how many lives, you know, that they've lived.
Yeah.
And as a dancer, you understand what it takes to get into a position, what it takes to continue to do that position over and over. And so your sensitivity to the preparation of going into a movement as well as the follow through of that movement, y'all, Shoccara literally gets it in one shot. Where I've seen, and it seems torturesome sometimes for dancers, where they have to do it over and over and over again because the photographer does not understand the timing of dance. You know, going into the plie, you cannot photograph it too soon, and you can't photograph it when they're falling out of the position, because then they have to do it again.
Yep. And keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So what made you, so after undergrad, what made you decide that, oh, this is actually going to be the career choice for me?
After undergrad, I went to New York. I continued shooting, but just doing headshots, a little money on the side. And then I relocated back here to Atlanta, and it was in grad school. And
why did you decide to go to grad school?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, who inspired me? My father got sick, and, you know, coming back, rest in peace, Michael Platt, my photo professor from Howard, was like, check out SCAD. And I was like, I'm supposed to be a dancer. I'm not supposed to be a photographer. Like, no, why would I do that? And I was like, okay, let me go and check it out and stop being dramatic. I'm dramatic. So, so I checked it out, and I was like, wow. Because SCAD is like Disney World. You been in there?
Yes, it's beautiful. And it has all the things.
You just get so creative and be like, I never want to leave. I want to keep creating. And so I went to SCAD Day, and it was there where I was like, okay, if I do this, you know, I talk back and forth to God. God, if I do this, you're going to tell me where to go, how to do this thing, and because I don't know. What I thought my plan was, I thought I was created to be a dancer. But if you want me to do this is all you, and I'm just going to allow you to take me on this ride, and I'm going to trust you and believe you and everything. So I applied. They called me and was like, hey, finish your application, submit your portfolio. And I'm like, hello? How did they call me? Y'all call people now? Oh, y'all fancy. Y'all got money. Okay, I do that. And so I didn't, because I was like, hey.
You were afraid.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be a dancer. They called me back. I said, oh, 2 times. Okay. I'm going to do it. So I went out and started shooting just content. Back then, we didn't call it content.
Right.
You know, I started shooting just everything so that I can have a portfolio to show to them to complete the application.
Right.
That's when Apache was still open and everything.
Oh, man, yeah.
And you could go there and
they had like a poetry night, open mic night, things like that.
And so I submitted, and then I got a letter saying you were accepted, and I was like, how? So
hey, you told God.
I know, but that wasn't it. So then they called us like, hey, you got accepted, you got to do this, such and such, and I'm like, y'all really calling? Yeah, okay. I said, well, I need more money. And I can't go because I need more money. They said, resubmit your portfolio. And you can see if you get another scholarship or something. And I'm like, it ain't going to work. So I went out and shot some more, and I resubmitted, and then I got more money. And I said, God, I know it was one, you showed out. So right then and there, I said, okay, I'm going to trust you when the school start. And they were like, they told me the date, which was on my birthday. And I said, you know what? This is too hard.
How many more confirmations did you need?
I said, that's the one. And I got there, and like I kicked butt because I was, in my head, I was like, I'm supposed to be a dancer. So I got to figure all these things out because I don't know where I belong. Everyone came in. I felt like everyone knew what they were created to photograph. So I was trying to figure it out. So every semester I was just trying I said, maybe let's do food.
I remember this. I do.
I was like, this is boring. I just want to eat. Like, I just want to eat it and finish it up. And so then I was like, let's do landscapes. You know, I had colleagues who was doing landscapes. I was like, this is boring. It's pretty, but this ain't doing nothing for me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what about stills? And I was just like, this is... So I'm doing all fashion. Girl, you're not a fashion girl. You're not fashion beauty. Like, it's cute, but it's like... and it took that one photo project I did of dancers, and I said, okay. Because I was fighting it.
Yeah.
I was fighting it because I never seen dance photographed, or I was never exposed to dance being photographed in a fine art type of way. Mm-hmm. I saw it in the dance studio, early posters, you know. So that's all I saw. And I was like, well, how is that art? It's a leg. It's stuff we're used to. It's a double attitude, you know. I could call it out.
These positions.
It's just positions. And so I was at my colleague's apartment, and I looked out of his window, Urban, homeboy Urban. Hey, Urban. And I looked out his window, and I said, oh, do you see that? He was like, what? And I was like, I see a whole, like, a performance. And he's like, child, no, I don't see that. And I was like, I'm coming back with dancers. Mm-hmm. So that was part of my first project at SCAD that helped me to explore with adding dance, with dance being my specialty, and understanding where I was in a fine art world with dance. Because I put them in these spotlights. In my head, it resembled a stage because I've been on a stage all my life.
I know exactly. I remember this project. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so Night Moves.
Yes.
Night Moves.
Yes.
In this particular picture was the first one. It's called M Street. M Street. Because that was the name of the building on M Street.
Yeah.
And so it resembles a scene of Chicago when people, dancers, look at it like, is this like from Chicago? Did you Photoshop that? I'm like, no, that's an actual building. Mm-hmm. And I had dancers to walk to each spot and give me a pose, and I'm talking to them from my cell phone because it's so far away.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, go to the next one. Go to the next one. Yeah. And so that was like my first confirmation that, okay, you're a dancer. Dance photography is where you need to be and you're going to be, and stop fighting it and looking outside when it's inside of you.
Wow. You know, I think it's interesting because you didn't think that the camera would end up being your dance partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like the thing that you love to do, you didn't realize, you know, how that was going to connect to your career path. And so it's amazing. I think even when the things that we're fighting against are actually sometimes the things that we really need.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was just like the perfect, the perfect pairing.
Yeah.
And I mean, any of you who have seen Shoccara, any of her work or seen her in action, you know that this is absolutely her calling. This is her lane. So, goodness, thank God that you accepted finally.
You would have seen some food and
some
dancing
food, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I know that, you know, you've been working in dance photography. What kind of projects, as far as photography, have been some of your favorite to date?
Oh, wow. I guess I can talk about like during the pandemic, because during the pandemic that pushed me to really do it from the soul. Because, you know, a lot of us were out of work.
Yeah.
Right?
Sitting real still.
Yeah, real still. So imagine, okay, you're getting paid to do all this stuff, and then you gotta sit down, and then you see everything happening around you. And so I start to think about those iconic black and white pictures we would see protesting back in the day. And I started to think of my role as a photographer and who God created me to be, and to be the one to relay the message, relay the story. Mm-hmm. Because remember, in different states, in different cities, we weren't seeing what the media,
Right.
we weren't seeing the truth.
Right.
And so my mission, it was funny because I had this whole conversation with myself. And I was like, God, you created me for this. So I want to use it to be a tool when I'm no longer here. So it's going to be something that's documented. You're going to look at these pictures. They had a pandemic in 2020, and then these people started protesting, and these images are from this one photographer. So I went out to different protests, the George Floyd protests. No, it wasn't a protest for him. It was, I think it was a memorial that was that started in front of MLK. That march went down, turned into a march and went down to the city capitol, City Hall, Gold Dome. And then the next time, the artist community had a protest, and I went out. And so I prepared myself, like, okay, what things to look out for, to be ready to run, to be conscious of your surroundings and all those things. But my purpose there was to tell the true story, to show how peaceful it was, how it brought people together, how people stood together in unity, the tears, the hurt, what we were fighting for.
The movement. There was actual movement in what you captured as well.
Yes. So that was something that, I'm so grateful that I have this craft, and I was able to capture it. And then with my Osmo Pocket, I pulled that out because I was like, what all can I have? It's hot. We sweat and we marching.
Not too many heavy things.
Yeah. And so I got a video where I added some music, someone singing, a hymn in the background, and you just see everyone marching. And it's such a beautiful moment. I can send that to you.
Yeah. Definitely want you all to be able to see some of that. So speaking of telling stories and being able to document what has happened in the past, to be able to really tell the truth. Most recently, you have been getting into dance documentaries.
Yeah.
And so how did that come about, and what is your connection to the stories now that you're helping to tell?
That was something else after the pandemic. I have this gift here, and like I said, I could do it all day to pay the bills, to get a check and everything. But the things that pretty much is groundbreaking, but also I just think about legacy. What is it that I'm leaving behind? I can't leave this money. It's gonna come and go, but it's something that is being able to use further down the line. So during the pandemic, afterwards, I was asking, who are these dance pioneers that my dance teachers, here in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, because New York everyone has their dance history documented, and I can't Google, I can't go to a book, a magazine. Remember back in the day we had encyclopedias?
Yes.
We
still have them, but they're digital.
I know, right?
Yeah, the actual books.
God. The kids would never know. You were rich when you had A through Z. And then Britannica came. Oh, you got the new one? Yeah, so so funny. So I asked on Facebook, who are these dance pioneers? Who is teachers? Who were the first black dance studios that existed here in Atlanta? People were posting different names, but then it was a common denominator. It was these top 4 or 5, and I was
they kept coming up. The
yeah,
same names.
I was I don't know these. Why? Okay, Google. Why can't I find anything? AJC, I could not find anything, and I was why?
Wow.
But these people know about them,
right?
But there is nothing that's documented about them. So because of that, I said, okay, this is something that's needed. I could document what's happening right now in dance studios, pioneers that are here right now. But no, these older ones are leaving us, and their heirs are leaving us. So I said, we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna work our way up until like where we are. So we created 5 stories. Myself and Tamara, that's my documentary partner.
Irving.
Tamara Irving. And she's amazing. My documentary partner, Tamara Irving, she taught at North Atlanta for like 10
North Atlanta High School.
And she's also a product of Howard University.
Hey.
You know? Not when we were there, but before. And she wasn't a dance major, but she danced with Ooh La La.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we came together to create this documentary telling the story, 5 stories about these Black female dance pioneers.
Wow.
Because this is the legacy we want to leave behind. We want to make sure it's documented somehow. So a lot of people were typing Barbara Sullivan. I was like, who is this? They was like, yeah, Barbara Sullivan of Atlanta Dance Theater. And I was like, hold up, we have an Atlanta Dance Theater? Because when I Google it right now, another comes up. And I'm like, do you know?
The original.
Yeah. And the fact that they were on Auburn Avenue, and the fact that if you go on Auburn Avenue, you see this building, this beat down building, and on the side you see the door, and you actually still see paintings, like it's kind of ripped up. Atlanta Dance Theater.
Wow. And I think you can see a bit of that in the documentary.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember.
So I was bugging because I was like, this was 60 or something. I was like, that door?
Wow.
Bruh. It's still there. And then we talked about her godmother, which was Val Jean Grisby. So she started her training from her godmother. So it talked about the connection. And then we get into Billy Gaither. And then we go into, we said Billy Gaither, Barbara Sullivan, Val Jean Grisby. We did Jacobs, but they didn't make the documentary, but we did record them.
To get the research documented.
To get it. And we talk about Spelman College, Spelman Dance Theater, because it's very important in the community, because I wanted to make sure I did highlight at HBCU, and because everyone went to Spelman Dance Theater, and I did not know. And so I learned so much about that. And I'm missing one more name. So we have this documentary, Norman's Academy, because that's where I danced at.
Yes.
And Norman's Academy of Dance is the oldest dance studio in Atlanta.
And it is still running.
Still running.
Wow. How many years?
52 or 3? Yeah. So
wow, that's amazing for a dance studio, let alone, a small Black business. Like that's...
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. And it's still running because it was, her mom started it, and then her mom transitioned, and then she left college and came home to continue her mother's legacy.
And there's so many dancers now that have come from these specific studios or are part of the lineage of the studios and the training that happened after, some of these studios or schools, they closed or they transitioned and, partnered with other people. And it's amazing to know that as a dancer and dance photographer, you have taken up the mission of maintaining that. And I think that, had someone else who did not understand the importance of these stories documented it, they might not have come from a place of wholeness in terms of the way that you have taken care of these amazing stories. And so kudos to you, Shoccara, and also Tamara, because this is not easy work.
Yeah. It's what they call it, soul work.
Yes.
It's hard work, not hard work, but heart work.
And also, most recently, we got to talk about this. You have another business venture called Bronzed and First.
Yes.
Please, and specifically as you talk about, we're going to make sure that they're able to see it. The representation, when you were talking about representation, not just as far as representation on the dance floor or in dance photography, but also as far as the educational and supplemental materials that we had growing up, as far as what it looked like, the actual aesthetic of dance and technique and what that was supposed to look like. So Bronson first.
Yes. Yeah, so Bronson first, my newest baby. So I was thinking about when we were growing up and how these dance posters had different positions that we were taught from.
Like the ballet positions where you see a little girl, and she might have been very fair-skinned, Caucasian, tight bun, straight hair, body aesthetic that did not necessarily look like our black and brown bodies.
Yep.
But this is what we had to use because that's what was available.
Yep. And so I am 41. I remember seeing those posters. And I got kind of angry because I still see those posters. And as a black female dance photographer, I felt like it was more I had to do. It's always more to do, right? And I was like, no one is going to do it. This is needed. This is another thing. My love letter to the dance community. This is encouraging the small dancers that are coming.
Talk about a mission. Goodness. Yes.
I know, right? Doing all this mission work. But
it's beautiful work.
Thank you. And so I was like, this can no longer happen. Like, we finally got tights and ballet shoes our color. And that happened because of the pandemic. You know, we were raising a lot of hell. So I was like, I need to do this. I'm tired of seeing us as cartoons with fat ankles or drawings. Like, I'm going to photograph. I'm going to photograph my beautiful black and brown dancers with natural hair and in these different positions. So now it could be plastered across all the studio walls. When little babies see themselves and they're learning first, second, third position, they see brown legs.
They don't just have to imagine what their body needs to look like. They can actually see an example.
They see first arabesque and they're not trying to tuck their butt and try to make their butt look like that because that's what they have.
Yeah.
You know, so I did the feet positions, the arabesque positions, directions of the body, and I'm going to continue on. I'm going to do all genres. Who wants to help out?
Who's next?
Yes, because it's a lot of work. So next we're working on our Horton poster being released soon. And I used a guy for this because that's another thing. You don't see guys in these posters. And so you're going to see black and brown guys. And I'm just going to continue as long as I can balance it with my work. Balance my mission work with the work that's paying the bills. And everything.
Yeah, and that is indeed the life of an artist who's living true to their calling.
Yes.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see all of the different versions of what you're producing. We're gonna leave our audience with a couple of photos of some of this work and how they're able to get some for themselves, for their children, for their dance studios, or even just for their own walls.
Yeah. And they could actually reach out to me and say, hey, I need this position, that position. Hey, I will get in the studio for you guys. I mean, representation is important. Yeah. I would like literally, okay, this studio in Canada needs blah, 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 and I'm shooting it for them. You never know who else needs that as well. So.
Because we needed it when we were those ages and during those times of our development and education.
Yeah.
Wow, this is truly, Shoccara, you are such a testament to living true to the calling, even when you didn't want to, answering the call and developing artwork that allows you to carry out that mission. And I'm so grateful that you managed to photograph me at the same time. Yeah. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, thank you.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Don't fall out.
Well, I certainly hope that you have enjoyed today's conversation on Dance for the Culture podcast. As always, You are welcome to continue this conversation with us by hitting that subscribe button. And if you're looking for more ways to stay connected, join us in our community at dancefortheculture.com.